Bookmarks, this is Mrs. Dutro, and today we are going to talk about writing topic sentences because the stronger the topic sentence, the stronger the paragraph. So your essential question for today is, how can I make sure the first sentence of my paragraph is well written? Please write that down in the essential question section of your Cornell notes. So before we start, you need to know what a topic sentence is. And basically, a topic sentence is a sentence that identifies the topic of that paragraph, what that paragraph is going to be about. And so there are two types of topic sentences for standalone paragraphs and topic sentences for body paragraphs. Standalone paragraphs are things that might be like an 11-sentence paragraph essay that is not connected to a larger piece of writing, to like a multi-paragraph essay. It's something that can just exist by itself. Whereas body paragraphs are those paragraphs within a multi-paragraph essay. So those usually come after your introduction and before your conclusion. Usually there's 2 or 3 paragraphs between those are your body paragraphs. Okay, so even though there are 2 different types of topic sentences, all topic sentences have the same characteristics. And so every topic sentence is written as a full single sentence with a subject and a predicate. It is not something that is written as a question or an incomplete phrase or a single word. It's a statement that you can say to any random person and they'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Strong topic sentences also always introduce the main idea of the paragraph without going into too much detail, because that's what the rest of the paragraph is for. And so once somebody reads your topic sentence, they should know exactly what the rest of that paragraph is going to be about. Strong topic sentences are also always written in your own words. They're not quotations or pieces of evidence from a text. They're not something that you just copy and paste off the internet and pass off as your own, because that's plagiarism and that'll earn you a 0 on your assignment like immediately. So it's important that you know the difference between standalone topic sentences and body paragraph topic sentences. Now, standalone topic sentences always introduce the title, author, and genre. That's also known as the tag of the text that you're writing about. They also address specific ideas or questions from the essay prompts, and they make sense when read as a single sentence separate from the rest of the paragraph. Whereas body paragraph topic sentences introduce a subtopic or a reason supporting your overall goal for the essay, and they use transitions to show relationships between the new paragraph and the paragraph before it, and they also do not introduce the title, author, and genre of a text unless it's the first time you're mentioning that text in your essay. For standalone topic sentences, you always want to introduce the title, author, and genre of the text you're writing about, and you do that by weaving those things into your topic sentence. So you might do that with this sentence frame: in his genre, title of text, author's full name, argues. So that might read, in his novella, The Pearl, John Steinbeck argues what? Or you might frame it like this: John Steinbeck suggests what in his novella, The Pearl. So either of those would work, and then of course you would fill in the genre, title of text, or author's full name based on your specific text that you're writing about. And then you would also put in what they're arguing or what they're suggesting based on the specific ideas or questions from the essay prompt, because your topic sentence always addresses specific ideas or questions from the essay prompt. So you want to make sure that your topic sentence directly answers that prompt in just one sentence. So let's pretend that the prompt is asking you what the author is suggesting about capitalism and monopolies. In that case, you might explain how the author indicates that they are good or bad. So when adding the tag into that, you might have a topic sentence that looks like this: in his novella, The Pearl, John Steinbeck argues that capitalism and monopolies only hurt vulnerable populations. Period. That's it for the topic sentence. Now, you also need to make sure that your topic sentence makes sense when read as a single sentence separate from the rest of the paragraph. So basically, you have to assume that your audience is reading the paragraph out of context of the prompt, and so that means that it needs to contain all necessary info for it to make sense to anybody. And so you need to avoid using pronouns like he or she or they without first identifying who they are. That's a really common mistake that I'm seeing in your guys' writing, where you'll say, he talks about how they are hurt by monopolies, period. Well, that by itself, I don't know who he is. I don't know who they are. Now, as your teacher, I know what you're talking about because I assigned that essay to you, but as a random Joe off the street, I don't know that. And so you want to assume that I don't know who he is or who they are. So make sure that you include the tag so the reader knows what story you're talking about. So that's where you include John Steinbeck, the novella, the Pearl part, but also make sure that you include character names instead of just jumping into he or she or they. So body paragraphs are a little bit different, and that's because they are designed to operate within the context of a larger essay. So by the time you get to a body paragraph, you've already written an introduction paragraph with a thesis statement that identifies the overall goal for the entire paper. So body paragraphs in that case introduce a subtopic or a reason supporting your overall goal for the essay. That's your thesis statement. And so because they're written to support your thesis statement, each body paragraph should start with a topic sentence that introduces a reason that the thesis statement is true. So these reasons act as the subtopics of your essay, and they're basically the primary topic for each body paragraph. And everything else in that paragraph should support the topic sentence, which in turn supports the thesis statement. So you also want to make sure that you're using transitions to show the relationships between the new paragraph and whatever paragraph came before it. And that's because transitions are critical for showing those relationships between ideas, and they really help your writing to flow so it doesn't just sound like a clunky list of sentences to your reader. It shows how those sentences are related to one another. So you might use some of these transitions in your essay, but it depends on the context of your essay, and it depends on the purpose of each paragraph. So you might say, one reason, blah, 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 blah. And then in the next body paragraph, you would say another reason. And then in the final body paragraph, you might say the final reason. You might also say, for your first body paragraph, at the beginning of this story, this happens. And then for your next body paragraph, you might say, later on in the story, the character behaves like this. And then finally, for your last body paragraph, you might say, at the end of the story, the character's completely changed because of whatever reason. Or you might say, especially if you're kind of talking about how a text, or if the title, or you might say initially, conversely, ultimately, and that could be used if you are proposing different ideas or differing opinions for one thesis statement. So you might say initially one might believe X, Y, and Z because of whatever reason. And then you have a paragraph about that. Then your next paragraph might say conversely, other people believe blah, 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 blah for this reason. And you propose that. But then your last paragraph might say, ultimately, this is what's true. This is what you should believe because blah, 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 blah. Now, there are way more transitions that you can use between paragraphs. Now, there are many more transitions that you can use to link the ideas between your different body paragraphs. These are just some examples, but ultimately the transitions that you use depend on the topic of your paper and what you're trying to argue about that topic. And then finally, you do not introduce the title, author, and genre of a text unless it's the first time you're mentioning the text in your essay. So that does not belong in body paragraph topic sentences, only in standalone paragraph topic sentences. And so that's because your thesis statement will have already mentioned the tag of the text, and you do not need to mention again with each body paragraph. That gets super repetitive, and it's just like a lot of extra effort for you, and it's exhausting for the reader, and just don't do it. But if you're writing an essay that maybe compares and contrasts two different texts, you may need to include the tag in the body paragraph, like in that topic sentence, if you have not already included it in your thesis statement or earlier in the text. So if it's the first time you're introducing that text, then you do need to include the tag in your topic sentence. Otherwise, don't do it. So here's a quick overview that just has everything that we talked about. Please take a screenshot of this so that you can refer to it as you are working on your next timed writing or essay where you need to write a strong topic sentence. And that's all I have for you for today. If you have any questions, you can email me at kelly.dutro@aps.edu. And I hope you have a great week, Monarchs.